Question for many of you out there, and it's how many people have you known that you personally knew in your lives that have either been murdered or died under mysterious circumstances or vanished, never to be seen from again? How many? One, maybe two, hopefully none. I certainly don't know any. I think the vast majority of us would say that we don't know anybody who's been murdered. Like, know them, know them. Now, let me ask that question in a different way. How many of you out there have 67 to 80 friends that have been murdered? None. And I lost track when the number was at 67, and there is a link to it later on in this post. When the Clintons hit 67, actually, that post was 67 plus 5, so 72. It's somewhere in the high 80s now of people that were once former Clinton associates that as soon as they became adversaries, wound up dead under mysterious circumstances, murdered, or have vanished, never to be seen from again. And now it appears that two of Trey Gowdy's investigators are among them. And still, this woman walks free, as does Bill. And still, these lunatics on the left, declare Trump's illegitimacy. And these lunatics in social media want to continue to censor and drive people like myself into bankruptcy. And the idiot masses follow. Why? Because there's not enough voices like mine out there, not just mine, getting the truth out there. And if YouTube is successful and silences all of us, and it's getting close right now. It's been a month. There's a lot of people. I've talked to a lot of channels that are really, really, really struggling. People that have done this full time. Soon, all you're going to get is mainstream media's narrative. If we're not able to get your donations for the time being, and we thank you for them, not just me, other channels as well. This is insane. This woman should be behind bars. She should have been behind bars 20 years ago. Now, this is as it relates to none other than the Pizzagate scandal, that other fake news scandal. It's amazing how much fake news ends up, getting so real that it's in your face, or in some people's cases, it ends their lives. So, let's talk about this a little bit. Appears that two of Trey Gowdy's investigators, they're gone. Wonder what they were up to. Let's see. Well, newsflash, it was tied to the Clinton investigation. If you don't already receive your copy of the newsletter from American Intelligence Media, please check it out. These guys, let's see what they're up to today. I haven't looked yet. I've been very busy myself. But these guys have always got just cutting-edge news. Let's see, we're still dealing with the New World Order. Let's see, today's what, the 19th? So today's headlines. Comey relied on discredited dossier to obtain the FISA warrant? No kidding. Something strange is happening in Atlanta, and the black budget wars in central banks. Again, very valuable information, stuff you never hear about in the mainstream media, so please check them out. Your subscription is free. Your Newswire reports two investigators working for the Congressional Committee, so let's be clear, not two bloggers, not two random dudes, two investigators working for the Congressional Committee headed by Trey Gowdy have gone missing in Little Rock, Arkansas, otherwise known as the global headquarters to Cesspool Central, where, no offense to anybody in Little Rock, that was really just a reference towards the Clintons. According to phone records, the two men were last in Little Rock with congressional subpoenas and instructions to search the private residence attached to the William Jefferson Clinton Presidential Library. I'm sure that it's a very clean and sterile environment. Here's the link to that particular article that I mentioned earlier. I believe in this one, I list out all 72 by name and how they died and what's known about them. Some of them unbelievable. The two investigators, whose identities will remain classified until it can be confirmed that foul play was in fact involved, please, this is the Clintons. We know there's foul play involved. Were employees of the federal government under private contract to investigate the Clintons. Could that be any more clear? So two more people, these ones investigating the Clintons, gone. They're sitting in the bottom of a swamp somewhere, alligator food, Specifics of what they were looking for is also classified. Well, if they're looking for bodily fluids, they'll probably find plenty of them sprinkled around the William Jefferson Clinton Presidential Library, I'm sure. Their vehicle was a blue Ford Escape, was found in a rest area just outside of town, and the keys in the ignition, according to sources. Folks, if you haven't already, please check out this link here, which describes in detail. There's 4 videos that really goes into the measures that YouTube has taken to just take censorship to a new level. I mean, it's straight out of the USSR. And you know what? You can hate me and want me quiet, and I can have utter disdain for liberals. I would never ask that they be silenced. Number one, they're too entertaining to laugh at. But this does not end well. Just doesn't. Doesn't anywhere in history. And it's not going to here. So, love me or hate me, fight for my right to speak as I would yours, because without it, this republic is dead. Jeff Sessions' Department of Justice has assigned the special investigators into the case regarding the Pizzagate to keep it out of the hands of the FBI, which he believes may have become compromised. I include a link where Pelosi had told Jeff Sessions, "You are not investigating Pizzagate," and he said, "Oh, yes, I am." And that was due to President Trump's announcement that he would bring the full weight and force of the United States government against these filthy human beings, many of which are tied to what? The DNC. And how do we learn about it? Through the Podesta email, who was who? Hillary Clinton's campaign manager. Clintons are knee-deep in this. It's also why, if you recall to an article that I did back in the summer, many of you probably weren't following back then, one of the reasons that Clinton was not prosecuted, according to an FBI insider that was leaking on a Fortran news site webpage, had explained that part of the reason they couldn't move forward with the prosecution of Clinton is because the Clinton Foundation was it had found its nasty little tangled web and literally had dirt on everybody. So that every level of government, the executive, the judicial, and the legislative were all from top to bottom. Everybody was connected to the Clinton Foundation. So nobody could full on investigate without somehow intertangling themselves or things that were of interest to them. For those that didn't hear, back in March, Trey Gowdy fought back tears in Congress when he put the elite pedophile ring on notice, warning that anyone who dared to interfere with his child exploitation investigation would be forced to publicly explain why they were obstructing it. Again, mainstream media, why is it, in fact, that we have an entire congressional committee that is investigating fake news? Maybe it's just that you're so full of shit by trying to silence people like myself and others trying to get the news out there. There's nothing fake about it. Gowdy delivered an emotionally charged speech on the day back in Congress discussing child sex abuse cases and the mental images that have been scarred on his brain after seeing the material related to the investigation into the pedophile rings. Those ones that don't exist, remember? It's just fake news. The Russian collusion's real, right? Okay, and here's a link to that. Please don't miss it. There's 4 videos. Every one of them is more telling than the next. And you'll learn why everybody has got to fight this. These groups that are trying to silence the right. Because the only thing left is tyranny. You can listen to Trey's speech right here. Folks, if you want to continue to get news that you can be absolutely sure the mainstream media is either going to A, lie to you about, or B, give you at most 10% of the truth on, please subscribe to my channel. That's another thing YouTube's been up to, is they've been, not just my channel, many of us have been discussing it and noticed it, that we're watching our subscribers just drop, and newsflash, they're not dropping. They're being taken, our videos are being mysteriously vanishing. It's an all-out assault on free speech. But if you want to continue to get the news, please subscribe to my channel. As long as I'm able to keep the lights on, I will keep delivering it. Without your donations, I don't know how long that's going to be. because there doesn't seem to be any end in sight. YouTube has not given any indication that it's changing direction anytime soon. So also for some of Hillary Clinton's greatest hits, some absolutely just vicious things in there of things that she has done and truths that the mainstream media did not report. But more specifically, for more information regarding Pizzagate and this absolutely real phenomena, in fact, it is so real that in President Trump's brief presidency, he's already rounded up over 2,500 members of these pedophile rings. Of course, you don't hear about that in the news either, do you? Unbelievable. Folks, to continue to get it, please subscribe to the channel. Please make sure to sound off in the comments section. And as I always say, he who controls the information controls. There's a reason they're not telling you this stuff. You might want to start asking yourself why. Is it they think you're too dumb? Or is it they think that you can't handle it? Or is it they think that you might not do what they tell you to do if you knew the whole side of the story? Every one of these is worth checking out. Very, 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 very disturbing information in there. And all things that the mainstream media has conveniently glossed over. So, with that, if he who has the information controls, it's now in your hands. So please control it and get it out to as many people as possible. Voice of Reason out.